What's up, Tacoma world? This is Yoda Croach. I am new. It's my first Toyota. I bought a 4-cylinder access cab, 4-wheel drive, and it doesn't have keyless entry, which was driving me nuts. So I went on Tacoma World, and it was very helpful as far as finding wiring diagrams and such. 12 volt is what I finally found in one of the threads, a website called 12 volt. That had the best diagrams, but still they did not solve this keyless entry deal. You can get an OEM, whatever receiver, and put it up there if you have the harness, which I think I might have. There's one harness up above the glove compartment. You take it out and look up above, like pretty packed up in there. There's one that was hanging, but those OEM receivers are like $800 or something, unless you can find it at a junkyard. And if you don't have the harness, then you're looking at a big world of hurt. So harness is expensive, and you got to wire it all the way. So I got a $10, it's like $12.95 eBay system. It came in this little box. It's got a fake Bugatti on it, nice, and didn't really have much in the way of directions, but decent little clicker, decent. And this is the directions they give you. It's not much, and there's a bunch of different options. You want to go with this one, and this. Some of them vary a little bit, have more options or whatever. This one had supposedly a thing that would roll up the windows, and an auxiliary for a trunk to open. Obviously don't have a trunk, but here's what you got to do. So first of all, it needs power. So I tapped in to this blue and white. That's your constant 12 volt that runs to your ignition. Okay, obviously take your time on this. This took me hours because I didn't know what was going on. I had to test everything, have a beer, relax, because electrical work can be frustrating. All the little tabs piss you off trying to take them out without breaking shit, etc. You're gonna need 10mm socket. You should have a lighter and some shrink wrap. You want these little connectors to tap in, and the way these work, just put them around the wire, and then they clamp down and make a connection on that wire without splitting it apart. And then you get little, what's it called? Sorry, this is hard to do and hold the camera. These things, go like that. You can figure it out. But you're gonna need wire strippers and a crimp tool, and these will hook up to where you need to go. But these are made for 14 to 16 gauge, and some of the wires you're going to tap into are 18 gauge, and you'll put them on and then it won't work, and you'll go, what the fuck, and you'll start trying to figure out why, and you go back through and you realize that thing's too wide to actually hit the wire, so you got to pinch it a little bit with your wire stripper pliers, and you should take your razor blade and just score the coating of the wire where you're putting that through, and then it'll work. So where do you want to hook up? Most of what you got going on is here in the kick panel and there in that fuse box. Okay, I already showed you the constant 12 volt. Some of the wiring diagrams led me to believe that we would be doing stuff up here. This pink wire right there is your negative for headlights and parking lights. If you hook that up to ground, your headlights and parking lights will turn on. That green wire right there is just parking lights, but it is only controlled by this and won't turn on even if you ground it. But you don't want to do either of those with this kit, because this kit is only going to give you the wires to unlock and lock, and then an auxiliary set that comes off of those that is a positive, and you obviously can't hook the positive up to that, it won't work. And you can't pull off of the wires that connect to the lock for a negative, because then when you turned on your lights it would lock your doors. So what you gotta hook up to, first and foremost, there is a black wire and 2 yellow wires that you want to put together and ground them right here, okay? Then there's this green wire that is supposedly an auxiliary to roll up windows when you lock it or something, and I think that the windows operate off a positive and this is a negative or something. It didn't seem to work at all. I tested it on the negative lights up here and it didn't do anything. But there is another auxiliary that is for the 3rd button on the remote, and this 3rd button does give a negative charge when you hold it down. So, or charge, it just grounds it. So I chose to hook that up to my horn. Reason being is that, we'll get into it, but you can't get the horn sound when it locks. So if I want to find it in a parking lot that's busy, can't find my truck, I hook the blue wire, which is the 3rd button auxiliary, up to this green wire with a red stripe that is your horn trigger, and that is right there. It's good to take your whole panel off and get shit out of your way. I just pull these things right out of it so that if I need to turn the power on, check how things work, I don't have to, have things unplugged. So then your white wire is going to be your lock, or your arm that hooks up to the violet right here. You can find this wiring harness because it is the only one, when you're looking in here, that goes through this. There's 2 of these white connector thingies that come off the wires that go through here, and one of those white connector thingies has a purple wire and a green wire. Now, I believe it's a green wire with a black stripe, yeah. So you hook the white wire black stripe up to the green wire black stripe, hook the white only up to the purple only, and that's the only things you want to hook up to these 2 wires. Okay, then the unit itself, the receiver, I hid back here behind this thing. It fit in there nice and snug, and then I took some zip ties around it, 3 zip ties, made a square out of them, and wrapped it around here so the thing would stay in place. This little red guy here is your antenna, comes out the other side of the receiver. So what else? This little guy right here, that blue, I believe is your dimmer, your dome light, and I wanted that to turn on when I unlocked it, but again, I only have 1 auxiliary button for a negative. Otherwise, what you get when you click lock or unlock is these 2 brown wires, and these 2 brown wires give a positive, so you need to hook them up here. You can see that here to this green wire right there that goes into that lower black terminal. So if you hook that up, and that's one of the one, oh wait, no, I lied. That goes into the white terminal up above, okay? So that's an example of one of those wires that when you put this connector on, it might not work right away unless you make sure you pinch the connector and score the wire. Yeah, I told you about the horn. Okay, those are the white and blacks, and the ground. Oh, there's also 2 orange wires, and those are for people who have to like hook up a pneumatic lock system because they don't have locks at all. So just cut those and put some shrink wrap on them and leave them dead. That is it, I believe. So what you get, the truck locks, and when it locks, the parking lights go. Parking lights also go when you unlock. One button opens the driver, second button opens the other door. And I'm not going to press it because it's late, but if you hold this down now, it'll trigger the horn. The horn is also a wire that if you're using these connectors, you'll have to make sure it's tight. Okay. Yeah, I think that's it. But yeah, I have keyless entry now. I'll let you know if it messes with anything.